Well, for more on the Palestinian response to this most recent death, I'm joined now by Zaid Asali. He's the president of the American Task Force on Palestine. Thank you so much for coming in. Looking at those scenes coming to us from East Jerusalem, it looks something like the Intifada again. Where does this go, Zaid, from now?
Well, it's hard to tell. It depends on the management of this present crisis at these very crucial days. It certainly has been heading towards an intifada for some time, at least probably in people's hearts and minds. It hasn't quite exploded, except for the last few weeks. And at this point, if it is not contained, I mean by just the right words being said by leaders on both sides and the right actions to follow, including legal actions to get into the depths of what happened and then pass judgments that are implemented. This is where the Palestinians have always had suspicion that their deaths go unpunished, while if anything happens to the Israelis, the government.
But we did have Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, saying today that this death was reprehensible.
We had.
Is that the language that is going to satisfy Palestinians?
Precisely. That is a good language to use, and that also there were good words from Livni.
But we still saw fighting on the streets of East Jerusalem. Despite those comments.
We will have fighting. There is much anger on both sides. I mean, the death of young people could not be more devastating to a whole people than when it happens in violence and in defiance. So tempers have to cool down, and leadership has a particular responsibility to do that. Beyond that, the law has to take its course, proper course.
Okay, what would you like specifically to see the Israeli security forces doing now? We have Mahmoud Abbas, who has accused Jewish settlers for this killing.
Yes.
What do you think should be the next step from the Israeli side?
I think the Israeli side has an obligation to understand the sensitivity of the moment. You mentioned the word intifada. I did not. But this has all the ingredients that would inflame people across the land in Palestine and would start a multi-year process, depending on the behavior of all leadership and their surrogates on the ground. There has to be a certain degree of understanding that throwing stones at this point in time, reprehensible as it is under the circumstances, is not similar to shooting people.
What exactly do you want the Israelis to do? What would be the next step you'd like them to take tomorrow?
Yes. First off is this business, how they treat the demonstrators on the street, how they treat them, what degree of violence to apply, and what degree of control they could exercise. The other thing, equally, controlling these loose price tag elements who have, started a huge campaign of incitement, racist, and also actions. They have to be as controlled by their government as anybody else.
Zaid Asali, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.